everyone, and welcome to another episode of Disqualified. I am Trevin, joined as always by Caleb.
Hola!
And Zach, as always, is behind the camera.
Hello.
And we are here to talk about Monday Night Raw. Weird episode.
Yeah. It was good, but also not at the same time.
It was what I would call a C tier show.
It's like a lot happened and a lot of good happened. But the pacing of the episode...
The pacing was so bad. So, theme of the night, champions don't get their entrance. They all get cut off. The only two champions that actually get an entrance, Io Sky and Gunther.
Yeah.
And they were promo segments.
Yes.
So that is pretty bad.
Yeah. Speaking of Io...
Yeah, so Io opens up the show alongside Bianca Belair,
Adam Pearce,
and newly added to the women's match at Mania. It is now a triple threat match at Mania. Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Bloody Ripley.
Yup. And this pissed Bianca off.
It did. And why is Bianca getting booed?
I don't know.
She's not the heel in this situation.
No.
The heel in this situation is Rhea.
Yeah.
She inserted herself into the match. Granted, after last week, it can be like wishy-washy, but you got to remember, she did slap Bianca first in the match. So she would have already gotten disqualified.
How Adam Pearce introduced that Rhea was getting added was funny. He's
representing the Judgment Day.
Not that botch. I'm talking about it's like, listen, I made a mistake. I thought that the three of you could be professionals about the Mania situation.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly I was wrong. I thought you could special guest ref a championship match. Clearly I was wrong.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good match.
Yes.
We end the segment
with Io.
With Io standing up tall for once.
Missile drop kicking the F out of Rhea to trigger Rhea headbutting Bianca.
Yeah, and that was straight to the shoulder too.
Yes.
Yeah, but this is now made official. I think my verdict still stands for my prediction. Spoiler, I think it's going to be Bianca.
I still got Io, especially because of how they've been playing Io. She has been 90% silent. The words she said in this promo were either in Japanese or off mic. So it's like,
I think it's time for Bianca to get singles gold again. I think it's time for her to hold the world championship again. I don't know what's going on. People are saying that they feel bad that she's got dragged away from the actual storyline she's a part of to be a part of this. I don't know what's going to be the outcome of this. If she loses, maybe she turns heel. I don't know. I would like to see a heel Bianca. It is something that we haven't seen since NXT. And it would be a breath of fresh air for her character. But she's so popular, it's kind of hard to turn her heel. But the fans are booing her right now, so I don't really get it.
Because, sadly, they like other people in this match a little more than her currently, I think.
I think it's that. There's also the... maybe they're just casual. I don't want to say casual because they're actually showing up to the shows.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they're just influenced by what Europe was doing and they were booing Bianca, which I am a big fan of Rhea Ripley. I am a huge fan of her. She's my favorite women's star in WWE currently. It is just... she's the heel!
Yeah, her character she is portraying in this has done 5 180s in the span of a month, and I'm like, what are we doing?
They just... the frustrations are they book her too strong, Creative doesn't know how to book her like an actual person. They will give her one promo where she's emotional, and then 7 other where she is just
A kid.
and very butting heads with everyone. It's very annoying. I would like to see some character development for Rhea.
Yep.
I think she needs what Trevin is saying for Gunther, which is a get humbled arc. I think Rhea needs to be humbled because they put her over too strong. Look, I'm all for people looking strong. You can be the strongest of the division, but when it comes to no one looks like a credible threat to you, that is where it's becoming an issue.
Yes. And yeah, it's just funky what they've been doing with Rhea for Mania season, because it's like that post-show after her first match against Io on Raw, that post-show promo you could see on YouTube was like, no, this makes sense. For the first time for like the first time in her main roster run, she is utterly alone.
Mm-hmm.
And it's getting to her. And then the very next episode of Raw, she's acting like what Charlotte Flair called her, a kid.
Yeah, it is really strange what they're doing, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah. Speaking of weird and frustrating a little bit.
Yeah, so the match wasn't frustrating.
No, the match cooked.
Lyra Valkyria versus Bayley for your Women's Intercontinental Champion. Of course, Lyra Valkyria is your Women's IC Champion. I think the frustration comes with maybe the ending. I didn't like the ending sequence, personally. I also did not like lack of entrances for either of the competitors.
Yes, both their entrances got skipped, and I'm like, and the ending of this match, as someone who studied martial arts and some like sparring techniques, I was like, it's a 50-50 shot, because how this match ended was Bayley had Lyra in a Boston Crab.
Mm-hmm.
Lyra was starting to grab the leg to possibly shift Bayley's position for a possible escape. Bayley, seeing that she's doing that, and also realizing that Lyra is too stubborn to ever tap out, decided to end the Boston Crab and try for a Rose Plant. Lyra countered, rolled Bayley up for the 1-2-3.
Mm-hmm.
You were a little upset why it was like, why would she end the hold when she could have won it if Lyra passed out from the pain? And I gave the exact argument I gave there of like, it's a 50-50. It's like if Lyra was able to shift the leg, Bayley would be pivoted to the compromising position.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, I get the ending, and I get why Bayley just was like, she ain't gonna tap out, I'm gonna try to end her quick since her body's already worn out, and Lyra just had a little more stamina than Bayley realized.
Mm-hmm.
The other weird thing about the ending was Lyra goes for the handshake, Bayley slaps it away, and then realizes like, nah, that ain't right, and then goes for the hug and raises Lyra's hand. And during this match, they also remind us, and they also remind us after the match as well, that in 4 days these two are supposed to be tag partners. And now after this entire sequence, they were my favorite for winning that gauntlet. But now after this match and this ending sequence, I'm like, they ain't winning the gauntlet. Yeah. Which means 2 titles have question mark opponents because one, the women's tag titles are def showing up at Mania as this gauntlet is to confirm that. But if this ending sequence means that Lyra is not getting inserted into a tag title match, it means we still have a question mark for the women's IC championship.
And the women's US championship, because that hasn't been mentioned sniffing Mania.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Like, why introduce the championships and not put them on your biggest stage?
Yes.
You get the most eyes on them right there. You get people that would be like, "Oh, that's a cool idea."
Yeah, it's like this gauntlet is for who is fighting a decently popular tag team, getting up there of Raquel and Liv.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like we have no build for who their Mania match is going to be because everyone thought, oh, it's going to be the Wyatt's return and Nikki and Alexa are going to face them. They're not in the gauntlet match. Then we realized, oh, they've been building up the rivalry with Bayley and Lyra a little bit. Now Bayley and Lyra have had this match, and the ending sequence leaves that a question mark, and I'm like, they're no longer number one for me. But then I look at the rest of the gauntlet, and I'm like, who the F?
It's hard to believe because Mania is, I think, 11 days away.
Yeah.
And that is one Raw, which is probably not going to set anything up for the Raw side because that is the go-home episode.
Yes.
And you have 2 SmackDowns, one of which is going to be branded WrestleMania SmackDown.
Yes.
So, it does not feel like it's WrestleMania season.
No. Oddly enough, some of how these matches are building feels like a Saturday night main event match.
Yeah. But we'll move on to, you know what? Honestly, it kept the pace up. It was a great match.
Yep, it was that. You legit stood up during this match.
I stood up during this match. It's one
because of a spot.
Yeah, it's one of the rare times that I stood up during a wrestling match.
Yeah.
So, the match in question that we're talking about, what are we talking about, Trevin?
We are talking about American Made, represented by the Creed brothers, alongside El Grande Americano, versus LWO, represented in this 6-man tag match by Cruz del Toro, Joaquin Wilde, and Dragon Lee, with Rey Mysterio at ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me just explain to you how good both of these teams are. We all know El Grande Americano is Chad Gable under that mask.
Yeah.
So,
What?
like, these 6 men are great.
Yeah.
I think put them in another tag match next week, please.
Yeah.
But Cruz showed out his bag. Joaquin Wilde hit the spot that made me stand up.
Yeah.
So, Cruz is kneeling, or he's like hunched over right by the ropes.
And one of the Creed brothers is also a little hunched over from a spot.
And Joaquin Wilde runs in out of nowhere.
Yep.
Runs across the ring, steps on both men, and does a fucking swanton onto, I believe it was Brutus on the outside. And that, oh my God. Please put LWO on our screens. I want to see more of this. Zach has the highlights up for us right now.
Yes, and another thing too is that, like, the camera angle work in this match was also real good because Julius is the tall one that doesn't wear the bandana.
Yep.
Yeah. Julius hit his classic
it's just like a dive. It's like a body splat. Or no, shooting star press.
Shooting star press. I was like, it has star in the name because they're American themed. Why can't I remember?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Shooting star press out of nowhere.
Oh, Zach, here's the spot I was talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
he used those people as a stepladder.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yes, this match cooked.
But yeah, so Julius hits his shooting star press onto Dragon Lee, who is pinning El Grande.
Yeah.
And it just cuts to him landing on Dragon Lee.
Yes.
I want to take a moment to speak about Dragon Lee's attire. He was wearing the WWE knee pads and elbow pads, looking like a turnbuckle pad.
He had the WWE logo on his trunks in some spot. Like a couple spots where they zoom in closely, you can see that it's on his trunks.
Yeah, it is quite the choice.
Yes.
Quite the choice.
Yes.
But so the match ends with El Grande getting a metal plate
Yep.
given to him by Ivy Nile. He
Yep.
shoves it in his mask.
And hits a flying headbutt on Dragon Lee for the 1, 2, 3.
Yep. After Dragon Lee tries to demask him.
Yep.
And so, Grande Americano and the Creed brothers
Yep.
pick up the win. And this leads to, I'm just going to cut ahead
Yep.
one segment.
All good.
Rey Mysterio is in the back with Adam Pearce. And Adam Pearce is like, you want a match with Gable? Tell me when, tell me where. And he's like,
Yep.
no. I want a match with El Grande Americano. And I said,
'Cause
my
he-
goat fell for it.
Yeah, because he's like, he goes against every single thing I believe in Lucha Libre, and I want to brutalize him and expose him for the fraud he is on the biggest stage of all, WrestleMania.
Yep. And I called it. I knew they were dragging this out till Mania.
Yeah.
Gable is going to get unmasked. I can't believe Gable's missing this Mania, man. Can't believe Gable's missing another Mania.
It's funny because I was like, Chad ain't walking out with them, but I was like, it would be the weirdest, like, hold on, wait a minute, what the moment if Gable came out during the match to help them cheat?
It would be so perfect if this turned out to be a case like there was Kurt Angle has a twin.
Yeah.
And Kurt Angle's twin filled in for him when he took a bump one match. And, he didn't get the loss, I think, because his brother was there. But, like, the Bellas have used this. It would be so great if Chad Gable had a twin. And it was the twin underneath the mask. They just happened to have the exact same body type. But I was telling Trevor, I was like, it's good that he does not have any distinguishing tattoos that we can notice.
Yes. If he has any tattoos, they're under his gear, which we ain't gonna question that.
Yeah. But now...
Speaking of twins!
Yeah, speaking of twins, so we move on to Gunther addressing the crowd and Jey Uso after what happened last week. But
he doesn't even get a word in.
Here comes Jey Uso, all blacked out, no emotion, no eating, and I told Trevin, this is a world champion.
Yep, this is the Jey you want.
He went out there. He did not let Gunther get a word, and he said, you got a mom?
Literally slapped the mic out of his hand.
He said, you got a mom? You talk to her? You talk to her about the wife, the grandson, how everything's going.
You want to know what
family meals?
Yep. You want to know what I had to talk about with my
my
mom this week?
How her older son's laid up in the hospital bed right now.
How her older son had to get 15 stitches in his forehead.
Mm-hmm.
And
he drops his actual name in the promo, Joshua.
Yeah, he's like, and you want to know what she said? Joshua.
Why didn't you protect him? And so Jey continues talking on, and basically the crux of this promo, and he says it at the end, he says, I'm not scared of you anymore.
Yep. And he says, the night before Mania, I'm going to lay my head down and say a prayer. And I'm going to pray to the Lord for your family, for you, and that I can forgive myself for what I'm going to do to you.
No, for that he can forgive me for what I'm going to do, or the man I'm going to become. Yeah, this is exactly the Jey I wanted. Like, cool. If Mania he comes out and he does the Yeet dance, I don't care. There are moments where you need to fucking be serious. And yeah, I get the Yeet dance is his gimmick. And I didn't like how I did like actually.
Yeah.
The only reference to Yeet that he wore were his glasses. It was not a big, I didn't like the fact that they were...
The crowd started saying Yeet like the what chants, and he wanted this to be serious. You could see he was telling the crowd not today, not today.
Congratulations, you are the new Stone Cold with the what chants. You have gotten a new obnoxious thing over, unfortunately.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was the only thing that kind of knocked this, was the crowd saying Yeet.
Yeah.
Because it was just annoying. It's like, you can tell this is fucking serious. Let the man speak.
Yeah. And that's another thing with coming back from the European crowds also is that they recognized when a promo needed to be serious and the performers needed 100% mic.
Oh, yeah. American crowds are very much, they want their participation.
Yes. And Europeans, they participate, but they realize not right now.
They participate more during the matches than promo work. I mean, yes, they do sing like, Cody Rhodes, Roman
Reigns.
Yeah, they'll do that.
Yeah.
But they don't know, like, if this happened in London or Brussels or
it would have been dead silent.
It would have been dead silent. And I think it just missed that. But yeah, Gunther looked terrified.
Yes, he's like I was saying, like, that is the face of a man who his internal monologue is, I effed up, I effed up, I effed up. And I'm like, Gunther, this is right-hand man Jay you're dealing with right now. You want to know who he was the right-hand man of and is busy right now? Be happy he's busy.
Yeah, I do want this to lead to a Roman Gunther feud somewhere down the line. That is for the future. We shall move on to what's present. And what's present is quite possibly one of the worst commentary decisions ever made by this goddamn company. Tony Hinchcliffe is on commentary. Fucking why? He made 7 attempts at jokes, and I'll tell you, only one I laughed at.
It was the Michael Collier one, wasn't
yes.
it? Yeah, but the match he was guest commentator for was the War Raiders, your tag team champs, versus the New Day. And
I did like how in the beginning they split off and they made Eric choose who he was going to attack once Kobe tagged Woods in.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was like, okay, that's cool heel work. I like drawing attention away. You go in, you pick them out, you get them. But the ending sucked.
Yeah.
So
New Day introduced a chair.
Xavier grabs the chair.
Yeah.
And he brings it in, and he's going to hit Ivar with it.
Yep.
And Ivar blocks, grabs the chair like a 2K prompt, and they start doing a tug of war for it.
Yep.
And the ref sees when Ivar Woods lets go. I think it's Woods that gets hit. It's either Woods or Kofi that gets hit.
It's Woods, yeah.
And Woods lets go, so Ivar just hits him with the chair. And DQ ending.
Yep. And this leads to New Day starting a brawl that takes the chair that caused the DQ to both men.
Yep. So the ending of it before producers get in sees the chair introduced in the middle of the ring, or not the middle, near the upper right turnbuckle.
Yep.
And Eric's head is in there.
And producers book it.
Yeah, because Woods is going to stomp on his head that is in the chair.
Yep.
So yeah, I think I agree with what you said last night. This leads to a gimmick match.
Gimmick match at Mania.
Mm-hmm. And I think the New Day takes it at Mania. I think they take it at Mania.
I hate it. This entire heel turn started with Xavier wanting singles gold. Why is the first thing of their heel run get tag titles back at the rightful people?
I couldn't tell you. They fumbled this whole thing.
Literally, New Day started
now.
Yeah, New Day, when they first heel turned, started getting booed off stage. Now the crowds are silent for anything involving them.
Look, right now, in my head, if everything went right and Xavier actually turned on the New Day, it would be him v Kofi, maybe for the IC at Mania.
But they fumbled the bag.
They fumbled the bag.
Yep.
But hey, they're going to be on Mania.
Yeah. And
Also,
speaking of
men,
IC titles.
and 2 of the 4 men at Mania, because this is now official for WrestleMania for the IC Championship. It will be your Intercontinental Champion, Braun Breaker, taking on Penta versus Dominic Mysterio
Versus.
Finn Balor.
Yep.
The last 2 men, of course, representing Judgment Day. But we see 2 of the men square
Yep.
off tonight, and that is Penta and Dom.
Yep, gain a little steam off for what happened last week and possibly soften each other up for the Mania match. But
So so Penta picks up the win, and
Yep.
here's something that Twitter pointed out to me. Finn pinned Penta. Breaker pinned Finn. Penta pinned Dom. Dom hasn't pinned anyone.
nope.
Dom's pinning someone at Mania.
Yup.
Dom is walking away from Mania with that IC strap.
Yup.
And I am here for it. This was also a great match. I think the only note I have is, Dominic, what are you wearing on your feet? It looks like you have carpet on your feet.
Yeah.
Also, I like the no t-shirts around the waist.
I think that's a subtle tie to like, because usually when he does wear the waist t-shirt, it's usually a Finn t-shirt.
Or no, it was usually Liv or Judgment Day.
Yeah.
The last time he did it, it was Finn because they were teaming.
Yeah. But it's like, no t-shirt at all this match. But yeah, it's funny. When you pointed out the boots, I'm like, I'm pretty sure I had that carpet in my house.
Yeah. But, Penta goes over. He wins. I think he wins with...
the other 2 participants in this match... Sorry.
What's his finisher called?
He didn't win with the Mexican Destroyer.
That's not his finisher. Is that his finisher?
No. Retribution? No.
I don't. I forget what he won with. But he did win.
Yeah, he won. I think it's called Retribution. I could be wrong.
Was it the arm breaker?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell
The
you.
Fear Factor?
No.
No.
No. But the other 2...
Now I'm just watching the highlights.
Yeah. The other 2 participants in the Fatal 4-Way at Mania decided to come down first. Braun Breaker, who freaking basically cut Carlito in half with the spear he hit.
Oh, yeah. So, oh, no, he hits his, what was it, Penta Driver, I think it is?
Oh, yeah, Penta Driver.
Yeah, he hits his Penta Driver for the win.
Yeah.
So, Braun Breaker, when he runs down...
Yeah.
This man does a full somersault.
Yeah. Carlito was running down to possibly give Dom some recovery time, and Braun literally was like, oh, you want to go first?
Yeah.
He did a whole flip.
Yes.
Out of the spear.
No, scroll down. It's in that second video.
Yes.
It will probably be in the second video.
Yeah.
Also, Carlito's comment, because I missed it last week.
Did you put it on the whiteboard beneath you?
I did not put it on the whiteboard.
His comment this week because he was looking at the...
Oh, yeah. Can you believe this?
Yeah. He's a 77 overall in 2K25.
By your feet.
No.
No, not the quote board.
No, that was the old John Cena quote board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here comes...
Yup.
So, Braun Breaker does a full somersault out of the
Man booking it.
And then Trevin's like, oh, he's going to inadvertently hit Penta. He's going to accidentally hit him. No. I said, no. That man is beelining for him. And that's exactly what he did. He beelined for Penta.
Yeah.
Took him out. Then took it to Dom.
Yep. And when he thinks he's standing tall...
Here comes Finn.
Yep. With his standing sling blade. And he holds up the title right...
Or no, he goes for Dom first, then Penta. And then he gets taken out by Finn.
I didn't think Penta was catching a stray.
No, he's like, Penta's catching a stray. Bro, he's doing a wake-up taunt in the corner. He's catching a stray.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know what you think a stray is.
yeah, Finn Balor does his standing sling blade, holds up the title, and then when he goes to leave with title in hand, he sees that was an eye shot of Dom, and he's like, oh.
Mm-hmm. And now we get on to
the ending of the show, as this was your main event match, but your main event promo.
The weirdest segment. Don't get me wrong, it was a great promo by Seth.
Yes. But
weird.
We'll get to the part you're confused about, and after doing some digging on the internet, I have comments about it.
Okay, so Paul Heyman comes out and he says, look, absolutely, without a doubt, I am faithful to both of these men.
I am faithful to my tribal chief. I am faithful to my best friend in the world, CM Punk.
So when it comes to WrestleMania, burn it down. Here comes Seth Rollins.
Yeah, and he's like, listen, Paul, we get it. You're loyal. You love these guys. But do they love you? Do they care about you?
He said, let's just go over when Roman took a little sabbatical and he left you in charge of Solo and everyone else.
Yep.
And
you got put through a table
in front of your kids.
Yeah, and he's like, where was Roman?
Yeah, what did he come and save you?
Where was Punk?
And when it came to Survivor Series and you asked me, I was the first option.
Yep. But
for your team.
Punk was your last and only option. And did he say yes out of the goodness of his heart?
Like a best friend should? He said no. Let me get a favor. So now he got a favor from you.
So if you want to see how loyal your friends really are, let's see how much are you worth. Maybe you don't even need to pick and show up at Mania. All it would take is a little stomp, but let's just see, are you worth this much?
This is where I literally think, in the broadest strokes of it, Seth is the Joker of WWE.
Yes.
He is, he has the laugh to go with it.
Yeah.
And he has moments where he's genuinely terrified. This, where he was like...
He's a supervillain.
Yes. It wasn't even before he said, let's see how much you're worth. He was just like, it'll be quick. It'll be painless.
Just your face. Just your face to the mat.
He said just a quick kick to the back of the head and then the stomp, and you won't even have to show up at Mania.
Yep.
And then he said, now let's see how much you're worth. And then he started pushing and poking at him.
Yep.
And Heyman says, don't put your hands on me.
And he's like, thank you for getting closer.
And pushes Heyman into the corner. And here comes the Second City Saint running out, CM Punk. And a little chase around the ring. Stop to CM Punk. And
Paul goes to check on him, and I'm like, Heyman, get up. Heyman, get up. That's a very compromising position. Get up.
And Seth sets up for the stomp. Stomps right before Heyman, and he says, now you owe me a favor. Now, Trevin, tell me, what favor does he owe him?
So people are confused on why does he owe him a favor, and some people pointed out it could be for sparing him, not stomping him to the dirt, but it could also be, someone pointed out of Seth made his point very clear in the beginning segment of this promo. He doesn't want to side with Paul Heyman, never has. Anytime Paul Heyman has ever been with anyone, that person has been a thorn in Seth's side. Mm-hmm. You think Brock Lesnar, you think CM Punk, you think Roman Reigns. They have all been a problem for Seth at one point, if not for his entire career.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But he said but he even offered Heyman I can take you out of this match. Seth doesn't want to team with Heyman. He wants Heyman out of the picture.
Yeah.
He wants him out of his life, his career, any rivalry he's involved in for good. And that could be what basically he asked. He's just like, stop getting involved in my business. If I ever see you again, I'ma stomp your face in.
I don't know. We'll see. We thought because so the running around segment wasn't really true. They were brawling. It wasn't a big brawl. It was more just like
CM Punk was going to move Thief the Stomp and
onto the stairs. That was the biggest spot of it.
Yeah.
And it was a shot where it was Punk and you could see the entranceway. And I thought, this is where we hear doom doom. Doom doom doom. And I thought Roman was coming, but no. Punk rolls in, stop. And then we get to the part with Paul Heyman.
Yep.
So next week we'll just have to see what Roman says.
Yep. They confirmed Roman's going to address the crowd on next Monday.
Mm-hmm. And we shall see from there. Also, I know that he's on SmackDown, but where has Cody been?
Good question. He had a little vignette this episode to the song of Last of My Kind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was cool. But I don't know. Yeah.
This doesn't feel like Mania.
No. Yeah.
It very much doesn't feel like
some
Mania.
of the stories have felt weird. Like, that's the thing. Last year, stories were in your face. Like, Cody v. Roman, in your face. Even the lesser feuds, like you think about Street Profits and Bobby Lashley versus Final Testament, that still had some build and was a little in your face because of some segments on SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, yeah, this Mania doesn't have the all these feuds are getting set up in your face vibe.
Yeah, but we shall see. We have 3 more main roster shows till Mania.
Yup.
And 2 NXTs.
Yeah.
Which, as of recording, is tonight. It's going to be in a couple hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, we shall see where we go from here. This has been it. This has been it from us here at Disqualified. This has been your main roster prediction champion, Caleb. That is Trevin. That is Zach behind that camera as always. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell 3 times so you know the match is over. Also, please go check out Throws of Chaos. It will be linked down in the description. Go check that out. That is our D&D channel.
Yeah.
And, tabletop roleplay channel.
We plan on doing stuff that's not D&D later on, but we got a backlog and calendar of a lot of D&D, so...
Yeah, be prepared for a lot of D&D.
Yeah.
But we shall see you next time. Thank you for your time. Thanks for watching, and peace.
Bye!